What's up, guys? How we doing? Cowboy Crunk coming to you. Let me get the video going here. Let me do some tests on the microphone. And I apologize. I've been having some trouble with the microphone, so I do want to make sure that all is going okay there. Let me get the live stream going real quick as well. Man, we're working this issue today. We'll see what happens here. Demarcus Lawrence, I guess the things are kind of coming together. I did say earlier this week that I really was hoping that this would come together this week. The reason is, as you guys know, the draft is coming up. The draft is close. As you guys know, the draft is coming up. Okay, good. We're good to go with the volume today. The draft's coming up. I knew that this was getting close, and something has got to give. And the reason I say that is because we're at that point. Is a turning point. We either do something soon, or the Cowboys are going to go into this draft and they're going to say, you know, let's feel the field out. Let's see what kind of a trade we're looking at. I mean, they're just going to test the waters. So at this point right now, I'm refreshing my Twitter every few seconds here because I really think something. The reason I think it's really close is because the Cowboys know where Demarcus Lawrence is. Demarcus Lawrence know where the Cowboys are. So if they've come together, that means one side has kind of decided, hey, it's time to get this deal done. Now, if this was in early negotiations, they hadn't been, the numbers have been thrown around back and forth for how long now? We know he needs the surgery. We know we're getting into that time frame where it's going to affect the season. So Demarcus Lawrence is going to have a push to get this done. The Cowboys are going to have a push to get it done. And the thing is, we know where his numbers are. We know what he wants. So if he's coming to talk to us or we've reached out to talk to him, vice versa, that means something's coming close. That means Demarcus Lawrence knows the numbers are close, and so maybe today they're just working out the fine tuning, the guaranteed money, or if there are any incentives. I really think it will be slightly incentive based, especially off of an injury situation because of the surgery he has to have. So we'll see how this goes. I got another update. I'm trying to keep this updated, guys, but I got. The Cowboys have signed Kelsey, a punter. What? Okay, no big deal. I guess we've signed a punter. I just got a Twitter message in, and it said the Cowboys have signed, and I'm like, and then it has a bunch of spaces. Kelsey Redfern, a punter of out of Warford. I don't know what the hell Warford is. Maybe he's a backup punter, not sure. As you guys know, we've been happy with Chris Jones here or Jones for a while. He's been great on special teams. The guy I like him because he's so feisty. He's had a few really big hits and tackles, as well as he's had quite a few runs for first downs. So he's been a real asset to the team. Not sure why we just signed a punter, but breaking news: the Cowboys signed a punter. So we've got a new punter on the team there. But I really think that this what's up, Lucio? How you doing, brother? Stevie Mac. No sleep for Crunk. No, not tonight, bro. I think this is breaking. I said earlier this week that I think it'll happen this week, and the reason is we're getting really close to the draft. We're 2.5 weeks off from the draft, and if you look at that, 3 weeks off from the draft, 2.5 weeks off from the draft, it takes time to feel things out. So the Cowboys, this week, if it doesn't happen this weekend, early next week, they're going to be looking to see what they can get in the draft. I mean, they're gonna have to. I mean, the draft is there. It's a time period to make moves. So with Demarcus Lawrence on the table, I think both sides, especially Demarcus Lawrence, knows with the draft coming up, there may be a little bit of a push for him to get this done. Also, the timing of his surgery and the rehab is about 4 months. So we're looking at getting into August now if he waits till the beginning of May. So this moves have to be made really quick here, or the Cowboys are going to open that market up for the for the draft and kind of start feeling around to see what they can get for Demarcus Lawrence. And you never know. What if they reach out and some team gives them a first and a second, or some team gives them a first and a third, and they're thinking, man, we could get a first and a third pick right now. We could combine those and maybe move up higher in the first, and we take $25 million off the books, or $23 million off the books for the next 5 years, which we do need that money to pay Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and some of our secondary guys. So Demarcus Lawrence really, I think, is the one that's under pressure right now to get this deal done. And the reason is, with the draft coming, if we get good trade value for Demarcus Lawrence, he's got to be thinking about this. I mean, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not saying I want to trade Demarcus Lawrence. I'm not saying I want him gone. What I'm saying is we have to look at it, and Demarcus Lawrence has to look at it too. If the Cowboys get an offer thrown at them, and they can take the money off the books and get a couple draft picks, that's a move the Cowboys would have to think about, because they could actually bring in a young defensive lineman that's going to require $2 or $3 million a year, versus having to spend this money on Demarcus Lawrence, and that is money that we could use on Dak Prescott's contract, as well as Ezekiel Elliott. And I think that's one of the reasons some people are saying, let's get Ezekiel Elliott out of the way, or get Dak Prescott out of the way. I don't really see a reason to do that right now, especially with Dak Prescott only making $680,000 this year. Let me hit the chat box real quick, say hello to some of you guys, but I am standing by. They've been talking about 2 hours now, so with the numbers as close as they were, I really think we might have an answer here this afternoon. So I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to keep checking things, and if we get a breaking situation where Demarcus Lawrence gets his contract, of course they may not sign today, but at least they will hopefully they will work out the negotiations and work out the numbers. And if it doesn't work out by this week or later, today's Friday, I did say earlier this week, I think they'll get it done. So we'll see, guys. Yeah, that's why I had my fingers crossed there in the opening part of the video, guys. Fingers crossed. I think we have something working today, at least. And the big thing about this working out right now is, if it works out, like I said earlier, Demarcus Lawrence knows where we are. The Cowboys know where Demarcus Lawrence is. So if they're talking, that means one of the two is willing to give in. Whoever reached out, maybe the Cowboys reached out to Demarcus Lawrence and said, "Hey, let's sit down. The draft's coming. We need to sit down." And they'll work on this. If they're still really far apart, okay, I just got an email in about concerning my meeting in Washington, D.C., so I do need to check that real quick. It's not important. It's about our booth. While they're here, there's no deal in place as of yet. Talks resume between Dallas. Just another update. So they're still talking right now, guys. While there is no deal in place as of yet, talks resume between Dallas Cowboys and Demarcus Lawrence. So, as everyone knows by now, the talks have resumed. I've been sitting here for about an hour or two watching my Twitter feed and waiting for an update. Of course, it's not going to happen within 5 minutes, but I said earlier this week, I think this week is the week to get it done, because we start getting too close to that draft, and then the Demarcus Lawrence and his agent have a little bit to be nervous of, because you get really close, and the Cowboys, if they're holding that number solid and they're trying to hold that number, and we get close to the draft, the Cowboys will be like, no, we might as well wait another 2 weeks and see what we get in the draft. Somebody might throw 2 first-rounders at us, and if they throw 2 first-rounders at us and we can take $25 million off the books, that's a done deal. I mean, you've got to take that. So, and of course, not every first-rounder, turns out to be a Demarcus Lawrence either. But that money is so important. That money he's asking for, we have players that are going to require that. So, this deal with Demarcus Lawrence, if it does get done, it could push some players out, like Byron Jones, maybe like an Xavier Woods or somebody like that we have to replace. So we'll see, guys. As of now, let me check the chat box. I keep jumping over. Let's see. Robbie Randolph in the house. What's up? How you doing, brother? Hey, you guys like and subscribe to the channel. I haven't done a lot of videos in the last few days, but I did want to let you know I did get the channel. I'm in the process of getting it monetized, and the only reason I'm doing that, all the proceeds from my channel, once I get these super chats going and all that, and I will show you guys every week, I will show you the income from the channel, and I'm going to donate that to, I think what I'm going to donate it to is Dak Prescott's foundation for his cancer foundation for his mother. Or that foundation that he made up. So I know some of you guys have heard that, and I also said a lot of times, you know, my YouTube is not monetized. People ask me to send super chats all the time. I said no, I'm not interested in that. But I looked at my page. I'm getting about $150 a month from YouTube, but I've never filled out the paperwork. I've never done the requirements to get monetized. So once I get that monetized, that money will come to me, and I will show you guys every week. It's actually money that you guys have made for me. All I'm here doing is talking about the channel. So once that gets going, every month, you know, all the money that you guys raise by watching my crazy videos, my CNN, I call it Crunk's News Network, the fake news, the CNN fake news of Crunk News Network. All of you guys that watch me, that money will go to Dak Prescott's foundation. So we're still looking to see. I haven't had any Twitter feed updates in about 5 minutes, but the last one I have here is concerning Demarcus Lawrence. Negotiations are still underway. They are talking, so hopefully we'll get something today. So Mike Clark in the house. How you doing, brother? Richard Weeks. Dan, you tripping? He's tremendous trade value. Yeah, hey guys, I don't want it to happen either, but it's the thing is, it's always a money thing. It's always it's just like a car. You can love a car. You can love the hell out of a car, but it depends on what it costs. We can love the hell out of Demarcus Lawrence. It depends on what it's going to cost us. If a team offers us 2 first-round draft picks and it takes $25 million off of our salary cap, that's something we got to look at. You know, and we're getting close to the draft, and that's why I think Demarcus Lawrence and his team reached out to the Cowboys and said, hey, let's talk, at least before the weekend, you know. So, you know, when you go in to look at a car, it just depends on what it costs. And it's the same way with a player. You've always got to look at the cost of the player. When we were talking about signing Earl Thomas, it was the same thing, you know. What's it going to cost? That's the bottom line. Not how much do you want the player. I mean, that matters on how much you will pay. But if it's something's too expensive, you just don't jump out and do it. I don't know how many of us, my wife is out there. She takes care of me as far as any time I jump out to buy something and she thinks it's too expensive, you know, hey, she'll let me know. Are you sure you need this? You know, are you sure we have to have Demarcus Lawrence? What if the option is 2 first-round draft picks and we get that $25 million back, or 23, you know, whatever we're going to pay him? So if that option is there, you know, we've got to take it. So D-Law has trade value, but I think we'd get only a first round or early second round. Yeah, I agree, Stevie Mack. I'm in the same ballpark. But, you know, sometimes you get surprises. And that's why I was saying, I agree. Let's get him signed. But if he's still like stuck at 23 and he's not willing to budge, and then it goes into next week and it gets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the Cowboys start shopping him around and they get offered a first and a third or something like that, it's something they're going to look at. But I think Demarcus Lawrence's team knows that this draft is getting close and talks could start up. So they want to start the talks, Demarcus Lawrence's team, before the Cowboys get engaged with teams concerning trades. You know, if the Cowboys get engaged with some teams talking about trades with Demarcus Lawrence, then Demarcus Lawrence comes like, you know, 5 or 6 days from now or a week from now, the Cowboys might be like, you know, we've got some pretty decent offers. Let's just wait and see if we get something better. So I think there's a hurry right now for Demarcus Lawrence to move forward and start. Thanks for the, hey, no problem, guys. I'm just. There's no real updates other than they're discussing and talking it. All I'm doing is giving you guys my philosophy. on what could be going on and why they might be talking right now. I said earlier this week, I think this week they'll start talking, and it's because that window is coming up for the draft. And if we get close to that window, you know, the Cowboys might get an offer or two that might make the Cowboys want to hold off and wait, you know. Right now, Demarcus Lawrence, and the thing is, he held this surgery over the Cowboys' heads, and he did that because he wants to stay a Cowboy. That's the only he's killing his trade value. So he's not doing it because he wants to be traded. He's not doing it because he wants to go to another team. That makes no sense. If he was wanting to go to another team, he would have got the surgery done. He would have started rehab. He would have went to the Cowboys and said, "Hey, I'm healthy. I'm ready to do this. Let's get this signed. If you're not going to sign me, this is the money I want. Let me go to another team. I'm healthy." He's not healthy. He can't go to another team. He's kind of stuck. Other teams, and it's hurting the Cowboys as well because we're not going to get that trade value for him. So that's where I'm at, guys. Demarcus Lawrence held off on the surgery because he was trying to push the Cowboys to sign him. He's not trying to push for a trade or anything else. He wants to be a Cowboy. But the time is coming around where both of us got to do something. The Cowboys got to do something, as well as Demarcus Lawrence. So this is the week right here. And so we'll see, guys. Any other news? Anybody want to talk about maybe Dak Prescott's contract? I was discussing that with Law Nation on his channel the other day. We went over some things about not Demarcus Lawrence's contract, Dak Prescott's contract. And, you know, I don't see any reason to do that until next year. If we've got him on contract now, there's no reason, if he's making $680,000 this year, to bump his contract up this year and pay him $25 million, $26 million, $27 million. I know next year we might have to pay him 28 or 29. It might go up a little bit, but this year we've got him for $680,000. There's no reason to jump ship and give Dak Prescott a new contract until next year. So next year we'll see what the value is. Yeah, we signed a punter, guys, just to let you know. We signed a new punter. Breaking news. Yeah, I saw the tweet come across, and it said Dallas Cowboys sign, and I'm like, what? We signed? I didn't expect us to sign Demarcus Lawrence today. I just expect possibly the negotiations to be completed. Hopefully, guys. It's going to take a while, and the reason is I think it's going to take a little while. This could be a couple hours if it goes down. I think that, you know, they've got to sit down and talk about the guaranteed money. I think that's where they're at right now. The problem is not, you know, the difference was 23 to 21 and a half. You know, that was where we were looking at, somewhere between there. So maybe the Cowboys, if they could get him to sign for around 21 and a half or 22, now the problem is guaranteed money. And the reason the guaranteed money is important is because he's going to be coming off this surgery. So they've got to put some incentives in there for him to make sure he recovers properly, make sure he does his rehab, make sure he comes back and he's the same Demarcus Lawrence, if not better than before. Yeah, that's where I am on Dak Prescott, 25, right in there. Mike Clark, Cowboys 1973. I would love for us to do a 10-year deal, 26 million a year, $260 million for Dak Prescott, and give him like 130 guaranteed, give him half of that guaranteed, spread that out over those years so it doesn't hit the cap so hard. And 26 million, if you gave him 26 million a year, I can guarantee you 3 or 4 years from now, average quarterbacks are going to be making, above average quarterbacks are going to be making around that number. So Dak would actually be a very, very good bargain at around 25 or 26 million in about 3 years. It's still a pretty decent deal right now, I think. That's where I'd like to get him on a 10-year deal, stretch it out if he'll do a 10-year deal. And you got to think about that. Now you're talking about we would have Dak Prescott until 2029. That's a long ways away. But you can do a quarterback like that because these quarterbacks last. You can see quarterbacks now with the new rules. They're not getting hit. The rules, even since Romo started, have really, really changed. And as long as we protect Dak and take care of him, we'll be all right. We need to wait till July 1st, post cuts for defensive end. There's also some defensive ends we'll be able to pick up after the draft and after cuts are made. There's going to be some defensive ends out there and some defensive tackles. As far as the draft goes, the top 30, the 30 visits that we've had. Let me bring that up real quick, and I'll go over the 30 visits that we've had. I'll talk to you guys about the players that are actually on the board for the Cowboys that I think we're really, really, really particularly looking at. Dallas, give me a second, guys. Here, I'll pull it up. Dallas Cowboys 30 visits. And as you guys know, Taylor Rapp, his actual 40 time, his 40 time went down quite a bit from what I messed it all up. Dallas Cowboys 30 visits. Dallas Cowboys. Shit. Let me close this and start a new one. I had it pulled up. Dallas Cowboy 30 visits. So Taylor Rapp's 40 time was not what we expected. He ran like close to a 4.7, which is going to possibly drop him. It could drop him right in our lap, guys. We could end up getting the exact safety that we wanted, Here we go. Inside the Star has the best top, the information on the 30, the Dallas Cowboys 30s that we did here. And I'll pull that up on the screen also so you guys can see that. We'll take a look at it. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for having Skip on here or not. So we'll take a look at the 30 visits. We did have six safeties come in, six defensive linemen. A couple of them were edge rushers. A couple of them were defensive tackles. So, but the key thing is, where were these draft picks on the board? Where would they be? Would they be second rounders? Did we bring in second round safeties, or did we bring in fourth round safeties? Did we bring in tight ends that would fall in the third round, or did we bring tight ends that would fall in the sixth round? So that's what you got to look at, and I'll go over that real quick. I want to check the chat box, make sure everybody's cool, that we ain't got any questions. I still have nothing on Twitter, so no updates on that. Still, when it gets quiet like this, sometimes I think things are working. Let me see. Nothing as of yet. No new updates. But let me get this Dallas Cowboys 30 visits loaded, and we'll take a look at that for a few minutes. We did bring in 2 or 3 safeties that definitely will go in the second round. If you guys can see that, let me move this damn trophy. I think you guys have a good look at that now. Let me go over here and take a look. And now my computer's going to freeze up. Gotta love the internet here in Afghanistan, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. All right. Yeah, here we go. So let me refresh this also, because I'm like 30 seconds behind you guys on my YouTube page. So let me refresh that. We'll go over this 30 visits. The 30 visits really, really, to me, is very telling on what we're looking at for the Dallas Cowboys in the draft. And the reason I say that is, okay, there we go. The 30 visits. As far as safeties, let me slide down to the safeties, because to me that really looks like where we're going with the first pick, and the 30 visits kind of tell. Jonathan Abram, who will most likely be off the board when we pick, but that gives me kind of a little bit of insight, and Taylor Rapp being there. Taylor Rapp and Jonathan Abram, that maybe the Cowboys are looking at trading up with that 58th pick and trying to go a little stronger at the safety position, because they brought those 2 guys in, and they're definitely second rounders, possibly first rounders. So those guys could be out of our draft selection area. So I don't know why they would look at them unless they're interested in maybe moving up. A couple other of these safeties were here. Kari Willis out of Michigan State, a solid safety. Also, Will Harris out of Boston College. That's a later round guy that definitely should be there in our third round pick. So we'll see where these guys fall. There was 2 more safeties brought in, but they're not on this list. We brought in 2 defensive ends and 4 defensive tackles. The defensive tackles, 2 of those guys as well, will definitely probably. There's a possibility they'll be off the board by the time we get to make our selection. But my YouTube is freezing up here like crazy. So definitely 2 of these defensive tackles, Kingsley Keke from Texas A&M, definitely a second round pick. Also Gerald Willis III. He is a very high second round pick, or he could go in the first round, late in the first round. His problem is he had some off the field issues. He's just really aggressive. He had some flagrant penalties or personal fouls that got him in some trouble at Florida. Then he transferred to Miami. Then he had some fights with some of his teammates and some things like that. Just some of the things that might move him down in the draft, where he probably should be a top 20, but he definitely won't go in the top 20 because of those issues off the field. Well, actually, there are issues on the field and within the field. So by looking at the top 30, the 30 visits that we had, it definitely looks like to me we're going possibly with one of these defensive tackles. And if one of these 2 defensive tackles aren't there, they looked at about 4 safeties right around the 50 mark. So, and what I mean by the 50 mark, they should go right around 50. And I think if these 2 defensive tackles are there, they might look at defensive tackle and take a safety in the third round. Jeff Heath was a 7th round pick, guys. Jeff Heath was a 7th round pick. He was an undrafted free agent. So an upgrade at that position. Not saying it won't take much. Jeff Heath has been a fairly solid safety for us, but you guys know we've had some tackling issues with him taking bad angles, and that's something that the Cowboys are wanting to address at safety. So Jeff Heath being a 7th round draft, or actually an undrafted free agent, he was not drafted at all. He was expected to go in the 7th round. And then we got Xavier Woods there, who's been playing pretty well. He's going to be playing better. But the thing is, I think Jeff Heath hit his plateau the year before or last year. He's not going to improve. He's not going to get any better. He might train a little harder, get a little better, but he's hit that part of his career where he's reaching his plateau. If we can bring in a young guy in a 3rd round or 2nd round, it's definitely going to be an upgrade. It'll actually probably be an upgrade over Xavier Woods as well, if we do the right thing. What are we at here? CBS. What is CBS, Hector? Something going on CBS? I have no news on Demarcus Lawrence still. I haven't had a post on my Twitter in close to 20 minutes. That's almost ridiculous. That means there's no news updates on anyone. Come on, guys. Come on. So, but like I was saying, if you guys just joined Cowboys add punter Kesley Redfern to a lot of 2019 roster acquisitions, and don't assume he's simply a camp body. Don't assume he's simply a camp body. I don't know if he can play. Maybe he can play safety. I don't know. We'll see. I think Chris Jones could play safety. The dude had some pretty nasty tackles and some pretty good runs on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, whatever, when he got those first downs for us. So if you guys just jumped on, I'll give you another update. Demarcus Lawrence, things are possibly going down, or hopefully we'll see what's going on with Demarcus Lawrence. I have no idea why we haven't interviewed Savage. Guy is solid. I agree. X Factor, what's up, brother? But anyways, the situation right now, Demarcus Lawrence and his agent, their talks have started with the Cowboys. I kind of assumed this would happen this week. I said it earlier that I think this week is the time for something to happen. If we don't see anything this week, I was expecting them to test the waters at the draft, see what kind of draft value they can get, trade value they can get for Demarcus Lawrence, and take that money off the books. If they can get a good trade value for him, you've got to look at it. We're taking 24 million off the books with Demarcus Lawrence, or 22 million, whatever we decide to pay him. We can take that off the books if a team throws a first or second rounder at us, and this is the time those negotiations start happening. Right before the draft, as you guys remember last year, we were really, really trying to work the Earl Thomas thing, and those negotiations were hot and heavy for Earl Thomas, and it didn't happen. And Seattle ended up keeping him, and we all know how that worked out. And then he ended up getting paid this year. So it looks like these players have no problem holding out. It looks like they have no problem sitting. We've seen, Le'Veon Bell sit, and he got what he wanted pretty much. We've seen as well. We've seen Earl Thomas sit, and he basically got what he wanted. I really thought if we would have jumped on the Earl Thomas thing real quick, and I know everybody's tired of talking about Earl Thomas. We did it long enough. We should have jumped on that right from the get-go. We should have jumped on that in the beginning if that's what they wanted to do. We should have offered him 12, 13 million in the front before these other deals came out, and that's what you got to do. When these deals hit, it's the same thing when Russell Wilson's deal hits. He's going to be compared to what is Dak Prescott going to get. It's going to drive the price up a little bit. But I don't think Dak Prescott is going to compare himself to Russell Wilson. I hope not anyways. Jesus is Lord, you must have been born again. John 3, Jesus said, you must be repentant of you will perish. Luke 3:13. Oh, my goodness, what we got going on here? If your heart before, are you praying? I hope, Jeremy, I hope you're praying for Demarcus Lawrence and his family, and he gets paid, because I agree as well. Love, the end loves warns. What the end? The end love warns. Okay, I'm missing something on that one. But anyways, appreciate the thoughts there. Cowboy X Factor, Stevie Mack, plus Maher will turn 30 during this upcoming season. Hey, I'm on the Maher bandwagon. I think Maher did well as a kicker for us. He's got a strong leg. He has to work on his accuracy and get a little more comfortable out there. I think if he does that, we'll be okay. I said the same thing yesterday, X Factor. There's a few solid kickers that will probably be undrafted. I forgot the guy's name, but he basically a more accurate. Maher doesn't buckle under pressure. I enjoyed Maher. I think he did all right. Like I said, I think he had a little bit of pressure being on the Dallas Cowboys. It's something he wasn't used to. But he has a strong leg, and I think second year he'll feel more comfortable. He did still kick better than Dan Bailey did last year. If you look at the comparison, you look at their stats for last year, he kicked a little bit better than Dan Bailey did. Dan Bailey, I think, missed. I think it was 3 or 4 extra points last year? But I'd have to go back and look. But Brett Maher, I think, is our kicker. I think he's solid. But, they always want to bring in some competition at kicker. They want to push the guys a little bit. And if there's no pressure, there's no pressure. So I think that's what they did. They brought this new punter in. They'll probably bring in a new kicker, as field goal kicker as well, to test this thing and see how it's going. I'm going to close this other window. But that's where we are on the 30s. The guys, the 30... The 30 visits that we had, there was quite a few safeties in there in that second round thing, and there was only a couple defensive tackles. So to me, that kind of points at our 58 pick. It kind of pretty much points us towards safety, and then possibly in the third round, when we have the pick at 90, maybe looking at defensive tackle. And then we also had some wide receivers in there that were actually around the second round. We had some second round wide receivers as well as some fourth round wide receivers. And I haven't heard anything on Jalen Hurd. You guys know I'm a big salesman for him. I've been pushing for him since day one. See, Hector looked it up. Dan Bailey was 21 of 28 last year, so he only hit 75% of his field goals. And as you guys know, Dan Bailey was up around 95%, 94% the year prior, and then he hurt his hamstring. He had the hamstring issue, and he kind of hasn't been the same since. So Brett Maher, I don't know what if somebody wants to look that up, we'll compare it to Hector Vega's number there, 21 of 28. For Dan Bailey. And if somebody wants to look up what Brett Maher actually was last year, Brett Maher didn't hurt us too much. Big Splat Blat. Your name messes me up. I tried to give you a nickname, and I think I made it too difficult. Big Dan Blat Splat always has a big something important to say. That's why I have trouble getting your nickname out, brother. We need a fat bastard. I like that comment, Hector. We need a fat bastard in there, huh? At the 58th pick. that would be nice. With Dan Bailey, 3 of his field goals had terrible snaps, and I believe 2 were also blocked. Vikings bring bad luck. Oh, yeah, that is true, guys. How many times have we seen the Vikings kickers had issues? the Vikings have issues with their kickers all the time, and it doesn't always have to do with the snow and shit either. Juan Thorhill at 38, or excuse me, 58. Aaron, that's a good selection for me. That's where I'm at, bro. This is my thing. Let me give you the numbers on safeties real quick. And I looked this up on I need to get a whiteboard up here. I want to do like a whiteboard presentation and show you guys. See, 29 of 36 for Brett Maher. Thanks, Hector. That's a much better ratio. He missed 7. He missed 7 field goals, but he had 8 more attempts. So and Dan Bailey missed 7 field goals as well, but he had 7 less attempts. So that's a little bit better percentage. And if you guys recall, Brett Maher also had a couple over 50 yards. 2 were over 60. Yeah, I'm sorry. 2 were over 60 yards, guys. And I don't think I think Dan Bailey's longest is 57 or 58. So we had an upgrade there. Brett Maher played better for us than Dan Bailey had. Now, the percentage wasn't there like Dan Bailey's old percentages, but then again, Brett Maher had those 2 60-plus yarders, and it was his first year. So, you know, he was coming off of playing in the Canadian League the Canadian League up there. And Dan Bailey is an outstanding, not Dan Bailey, Brett Maher is an outstanding punter. Really, really good punter. You guys will see him in the preseason. Doing quite a bit of punting. I wanted to touch on the what was it? I was going with the with the acquisition of us going at 58 with a safety over a defensive tackle, and why I'm really, really sold on a safety and not going defensive line. 2016, 2017, 2018. I looked up the numbers. From 2016, 17, and 18, there were about 55 defensive linemen taken before 58. So from 1 to 58 in the draft, those 3 years, there was a total of 55, 56 defensive linemen taken. Only 4 of those made the Pro Bowl. 4. There were approximately 28. There were 28 secondary players, safeties and corners. Safeties and corners came off at a much slower rate. So the what do you want to call it? The protocol right now is to take defensive linemen early. Take edge rushers and defensive tackles. So you're going to get a better safety at 58 than you would get a defensive tackle at 58. It's just not going to be the same quality. You'll get a good defensive tackle. You get a good edge rusher if you're in the top 20, Once you get past 20, you start getting into the 7th and 8th and 10th and 15th, defensive linemen coming off the board. Safety at 58, we're looking at around the 5th or 6th, maybe the 4th best safety coming off the board. And another thing is, guys, out of those 26 safeties and corners that came off the board, 10 of them made the Pro Bowl. 10 rookie Pro Bowlers in the top 58. The top 58 picks, 10 Pro Bowlers were safeties or corners, but you only had 4 defensive linemen, and there were a hell of a lot more defensive linemen taken off the board. So at 25 years old, 24 years old, 23 years old, you get a much better safety than you get at a 23-year-old defensive lineman. We're still waiting on Taco Charlton to turn the corner. We're still waiting on Connor Williams to turn the corner. And I group offensive linemen a little bit in there when you talk about the progress of needing the strength. I still have nothing on my Twitter, guys. Something's wrong. My Twitter at least has something every, well, that was 4 minutes ago, the situation with Patrick Walker, which is the Voice of the Star. That's one of the pages I go to get information on the top 30s and stuff like that. So as of right now, guys, nothing on Demarcus Lawrence. Teams bring in kickers and punters every year to spare the veterans. Yeah, that's another thing. Exactly. One of the reasons they bring these punters and these kickers in is just to spare the veterans, so that they don't have to continuously be out there punting and kicking and punting and kicking. They can get their practice and they can get their warm-ups and stuff in practice, and you don't have to put them in game situations. Kickers are much more valuable than people think, guys. If you're a playoff team, really, really think about this. If you're a playoff team, you're going to get to the position in a game where a kicker, if you're going through a playoff run, one of your games in the playoffs, your kicker is going to win it or lose it for you. It just happens. If you make it to, if you're in a wild card game, you've got a wild card game to go to, then the pre-championship game, then the championship game, then the Super Bowl. So you've got games in there that are, one of those games is going to be close, one of those games is going to be less than one score, and what's going to win or lose that game for you is if your kicker makes a kick or loses a kick, whether it's in the beginning, whether it's at the end of the second half, going into halftime, or if it's at the end of the game and the game is on the line and your kicker's there. So kickers are extremely valuable. How many times have we seen teams not make it to the playoffs? How many times have we seen teams not make it to the playoffs because of a kicker? So, kickers are really, really valuable to the team, and I'm glad we've got a good one. I trust Brett Maher. He just needs to, get a few more pressure situations under his belt with good kicks, and we'll be all right. Why all the pads? Rugby a lot better game. Oh, yeah, I'm not a rugby guy, boss. I got buddies here. I work and live with Australians. Our canine guys are all from South Africa, so big rugby guys. They watch our football here, and they were flipping out a few days ago when I was showing some of the hits, and they said the same thing. You can't hit someone without pads the way you can. Once you put pads on, it's a different game. The hits are a hell of a lot harder, bro. Last year we didn't even know how to say Maher's name. Yeah, exactly. Money Maher. We know it now. Yeah, there's it's our game, brother. Jamie Colt, it is our pastime. It's taken over from baseball. Baseball is, I don't see it as America's pastime anymore, so we'll see. Yeah, the Crunk Rugby channel starts later. I can do a rugby channel, bro. My Australian partner over here, he's a big rugby fan. So I've watched games of rugby, dude. I've traveled the whole world. I've been to rugby games. They're nowhere near the athletes that the American football players are. It's not even close. Not even close. It's a different game. It's like golf and putt-putt. Rugby players are putt-putt. NFL players play golf. It's a different sport, boss. Sorry. Uh, you put an Adrian Peterson, or you put a guy like that on a rugby field, nobody will catch him. Not a person on a rugby field will catch Adrian Peterson in his prime. Just wouldn't happen. Where are we at? Hector. Last year we didn't even know how to say Brett Maher's name. The United States, Jamie on the country to know what. Okay, but let me check Twitter again, guys. Man, I really thought something was coming. Hopefully soon. I think something will happen. Things don't move too much over the weekend, but Jerry Jones, if he wants to get this done, he'll throw the numbers together and he'll get all this stuff rolling, and we'll see. We'll see if we can get some numbers cranked out and get Demarcus. The thing is, they're really close, guys. So if they came together and they're talking about it right now, that obviously means I'm reading. Again. Hold on. Let me see what we got here. Now I got a new one coming in. Dallas Cowboys training camps since, let's see, home. Dallas Cowboys have signed punter. They keep posting about the punter. I think they're trying to keep us here all day waiting on Demarcus Lawrence to break. So guys, that's what I'm here waiting on. I'm actually here waiting on the Demarcus Lawrence thing to break. I hope it breaks during the live stream. You guys know that's what I do when I think something's in the works. The Robert Quinn thing, I went live twice. The first time I had a bunch of guys throwing rocks at me, throwing stones, hit me with messages saying, "Oh, Cowboy Crunk, you said it was going to happen," and hey, I thought it was going to happen. It happened a week later, but the reason it didn't happen that first day was the same thing right here. There was negotiations to work out on the guaranteed money, if there was going to be a trade to Miami, how much of the salary Miami was going to pay, how much the Cowboys wanted to pay. The Cowboys weren't going to pay the $11.8 million. So there was a lot of discussions, and what it ended up as, hey, you go home, relax, we'll work the numbers out, and we'll call you when the numbers are worked out. And that's what happened. Everybody went home, everybody relaxed, everybody ordered pizza, ordered some Papa John's, watch some college basketball, watch the tournament and all those things. And then we came back together when Robert Quinn, or the Dallas Cowboys and Robert Quinn's agent in Miami, had everything worked out. So it all worked out. We got Robert Quinn as we thought we would. And now we're moving forward. Now we're working on this. Now we're working on this situation with Demarcus Lawrence. And if anything, if something does not happen today, I'm not gonna. I don't block people, guys, so I'm gonna leave that in there. But it's not a big deal to me. Okay, Jamie, we don't give a. No, nobody cares about rugby, bro. Go see if you can find a rugby channel. You probably can't even find a rugby channel. You go look for a Dallas Cowboy channel or an NFL channel. You're gonna find them all over the damn place. So if you want to go talk rugby, go talk rugby. But salute to you, brother. I do like your sport. I have no problem. I love watching it. But to me, it's not NFL. It's a little different. And Australian rule football, rugby rule football. I like my NFL, boss. I just do. It's fun to watch. My next door neighbor is the coach for the university there in Houston, the Texas A&M rugby team. So he's the head coach for the Texas A&M rugby team. So I have nothing against rugby players. Both of his sons are rugby players and went to Texas A&M. They went to college. They played rugby, and now they're in Houston, Texas, trying to find a job. They can't find a job, but they did play rugby. And actually, one of them also, I don't know where you're from, Jamie Culp. Actually, one of them played for the U.S. Olympic rugby team, and I know we weren't too good. The USA doesn't have a great rugby team, but he was the captain on the rugby team for USA. And I can't recall his name right now, but it is a neighbor like 3 or 4 houses down from me. So I'm not no hating on rugby. They're athletes. I love all athletes. Anyone that puts their body on the line like a rugby player does or an NFL football player does, I have much respect. But we're NFL here, and you're not go change anybody to into a rugby guru on the Crunk channel. This is CNN, baby. This is the Crunk News Network, and it's all about the NFL. So that's where we're at still, guys. We're still waiting on this news to break. And we're going to, waiting to see what's going to happen with Demarcus Lawrence. If something doesn't happen today, I suspect something early next week. If something doesn't happen early next week, guys, we are getting too close to the draft we're getting too close to the draft not to look and see what teams are going to offer. And if teams offer something, the Cowboys got to respond. The Cowboys got to take it into consideration. You can't just blow an offer away. If somebody pulls up in your driveway and you're not even shopping for a car, and they pull up in the driveway and they give you a good deal on a car, or they give you a good deal on dinner, or something like that, you've got to look into it. Puro Cowboys. Hey, hey, that's my Puro NFL, Puro Cowboys. I don't know who that guy is. I've seen his videos. I really like him a lot. Also, yeah, guys, hey, I appreciate it. Do hit the like button. Like I mentioned earlier, if you just got on here, or if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I did just get the channel monetized. All the money from my channel, super chats and the minutes or likes or all that stuff adds up. I didn't realize I'm getting about $150 a month to the channel, but it's not coming to me. YouTube is keeping it because I never did the paperwork. So I'm in the process getting the channel monetized. Once the channel's monetized, any money I get will go to Dak Prescott's foundation, for the cancer foundation that Dak Prescott has set up. So that's what I'm going to do with the money that you guys give me. Every minute, every second of a video that you guys watch, I get some kind of monetary value for. And I'm going to give that to Dak Prescott's charity. So you may see videos popping up with commercials, which I didn't have before. But my wife told me, hey, your videos, she's the one that told me. She said, your videos have commercials in them. I said, they shouldn't. I'm not monetized. So I went to the channel to see how I get it monetized, and there was a page there that showed $150 a month. I'm like, holy shit, I've been earning $150 a month for YouTube, and I never did the paperwork to get it. So I am going to do that paperwork, and I will share that with you guys every month also. I'll do a video every month when the money is sent to me, and I'll take the check. I'm going to actually ask for a check, and I'm going to sign the check, cash it, change it into a money order, and I will send that to Dak Prescott's foundation. So just some shout outs in the chat room, some guys I hadn't seen before. Of course, Big Dan Blatt Splat, always bringing in some kind of information. I call him Splat because his news hits like a splat on the wall, like a big a mud pie or something. I know people today don't know what mud pies are. We used to have mud, fight with mud like when we were kids, but people don't do that shit no more. Marvin Jenkins in the house, trade Tank and get Ziggy Ansah and Sue. Hey, Marvin, it was something I was talking about earlier. Those were two exact names that came up for me. I think with the money, and we'd get a draft pick, we could bring in a young guy, maybe 2 draft picks, and have these 2 guys. So we'll see. To me, it just depends on what the cost is. If Demarcus Lawrence is holding solid today, he might have reached out and said, hey, he might have sat down with his agent, he might have had lunch, and he might have said, let's get with the Cowboys and let's try to get this done. And he might have stepped to him with $23 million still. He might have said, no, look, I want to talk to you, but I'm stuck at $23 million, and this is why. Hopefully, he's come down a little bit. I would think if they've decided to talk, either the Cowboys have decided to bump the offer up, or Demarcus Lawrence has decided to, take a little less, and that's what they're talking about. So, hide. Why? I don't know why they're hiding your tacos, man. The defense will be a beast. Bro, I think our defense is going to be solid this year, especially if we go safety at 58. I think the defensive line is taking care of itself. If we don't get Demarcus Lawrence, we're going to get that money back. With that money back, we go out there and we get a couple guys. We can get one more solid defensive lineman or defensive tackle, and we will also get some kind of trade value for him, a second round or a first round, or maybe a first and a third, or a second, maybe 2 seconds. Who knows what we're going to get? But we can combine those together if we get 2 picks and move up even further. So we just got to wait and see what happens, guys. I really can't believe something hadn't happened yet. I do need to start saying ladies and gentlemen or people or friends, because I looked on my channel. That's another thing. It has something on the YouTube channel called analytics. And analyticals is like it shows your numbers. And 99.5% of the people on my channel are all men. And I don't know if it's because of football, or if it's or if it's because or if it's just because I say guys all the time. Hey guys, what's up guys? And I don't know if because I say that maybe all the women run away. So not a big deal who's on the channel. I don't not care, but I do want to make sure that everybody feels California, comfortable in here. And I hope no one from California takes offense to that. But, in California, you got to make sure 100% in California that everybody's comfortable. So I want to make sure everybody's comfortable. Does anybody need anything? Does anybody want me to, not say guys, or if I say guys too much? Yeah, it could be my... It could be my looks. Thank you, Crunk. Yeah, I have, or excuse me. Thank you, Big Dan. Big Dan Blatt Splat, coming through with something strong again. You always hit the chat box with something heavy. Thank you, brother. No, I'll show you a picture of me though. A year and a half ago, you would freak out. I look like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've lost almost all of that this year. I've had a rough year in the gym. Basically, that means I haven't been very much. Dems love endless illegals for votes at middle class expense to the point of destroy Libya so you can migrate crisis Europe, USA. Now they want to outweigh Trump to destroy Syria too. Man, you got some deep thoughts in there, man. We went straight political there. Ninian Sky. Welcome to the page, my friend. Nice to see you. What do we want from rugby to football? Imagine that crisis. Exactly. Tank steals all of the snaps at. He does do that. He's the Jason Witten over there, like you're saying. We do need to get Taco in there a little more. And really, I think this is the year that Taco's going to break through. And the reason I say that, if you look back at all of these defensive ends, since the history. We got 3 messages just came in really quick, guys. What do we got? 3 messages really quick, and I haven't had nothing. Come on. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Give me a second, guys. Shit. That's not it. Nothing yet. Oh, this damn crap with Good Morning Football. When Good Morning Football posts something, they'll post like 5 videos like this, and it always makes me think some important news has come in, because when important news come in, the way I have my Twitter set up, I'll get like 5 or 6 messages really quick, and that usually means these guys that get the news really fast, they're putting out tweets, and they're all trying to beat each other who can get it out first. So that's how I keep informed, is through Twitter. That is the quickest way. Twitter and Instagram usually post pretty quick. It seems like most of the guys use Twitter. So when you get 3 messages like I did just within like 5 seconds, I thought something was going down. So damn, I thought it was something big, man. Nothing but Good Morning Football shit. So, yeah, Tank does steal all the snaps there at defensive end. Taco, this should be his year. Guys, if you look back at defensive linemen and offensive linemen, the first year and a half, 2 years, 3 years even, they're a little soft. And the reason they're soft is they just don't have that man strength to compete in the trenches. It's tough in the trenches, man. It's not from the jump from college offensive and defensive line, that jump is much bigger than for an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman than it is for a safety. Safety is not as physical. It's a much less physical position. You can play that at 23, 24 years old. When you get into these physical matchups at offensive line and defensive line, you're not gonna start performing till you're 27 years old, 26, and that's why Tank Lawrence came on late. That's why Tyrone Crawford came on late. That's why Randy Gregory. You don't see these guys in the first year. You don't see them produce like that. I agree. Football Twitter for the smart dumb people. Crunk, a teddy bear and a hug for the California Crunk fans. Yes, California love. My kids did live out there for a little while, Hector, and it used to drive me nuts being in California. I couldn't handle it. Having to pay for plastic bags, having to, I'd go into the supermarket and they're like, "Do you want plastic bags?" I'm like, "What do you mean, do I want plastic bags?" They're like, "Do you want your groceries in plastic bags?" I'm like, "What do you want me to do with them? You want me to carry them?" And they're like, no. Here in California, oh, you're not from here? I said, no, I'm not from here. You have to pay for your plastic bags. It's 10 cents for a plastic bag. I'm like, get the hell out of here. I said, you know what? I said, tell me how much all the plastic bags in this store cost. I'm going to buy all these damn plastic bags so everybody in California has plastic bags. I was so pissed off about having to spend 10 cents for a plastic bag for my groceries that I was just going to buy them all so nobody had to F with it. Give me some shout outs where you guys from. I got 50 people in the chat box while we're waiting on news to post. They've been in there a while, guys. They've been discussing things for a few hours. Hopefully we'll hear some news here, but give me some shout outs. As you guys know, I'm from Houston, Texas. The Big Mag Nasty, Magnolia, Texas is where I'm from. That's North Houston up by the Woodlands. And I will be going home here on the 22nd. Where we got shout outs from? Wyoming. Y4 Steve out of Wyoming. What's up, brother? How you doing? Harlem Cowboy, love the info you give us. Been listening to you lately. Thank you very much, Harlem Cowboy. I love the name there. That Harlem Cowboy is tight, bro. That's really, really cool. If you're from Harlem, good. If it's just a name, Harlem Nights was a really good movie that I love from Eddie Murphy. Had classic people in it, man. Eddie Murphy, Red Fox. What's his name? God dang, Richard Pryor. The comedians in there were really good. DC, hey, CO Dunes. I will be in DC in about a month and a half. I have a meeting there from the 17th. No, excuse me. Actually, it's the 20th to the 22nd. I will be at the Gaylord at the Harbor Gaylord, the hotel there. I'll be there for a few days. Military brat, no home. Currently resting my head in Oahu. Just had an interview. Grand Jamin. I just had an interview for Pearl Harbor, the military installation there at Pearl Harbor. There's a good chance that's where I may be going for work. I'll know something here in about actually next week I'll know something, but I've got some other interviews that I want to play out. So I could be moving to Hawaii. We'll see. But I will be in D.C. next week. Arizona in the house. Hector out of Arizona. Welcome to the channel, brother. Yeah, we will. CO Dunes, I don't know if you follow Mark Holmes. Me and Mark Holmes are going to get together. We're going to try to do a show together, as well as we're going to try to have dinner. My wife will be there. Maybe his wife will have time to have dinner, but we're going to get together with Mark Holmes definitely on the 18th, the evening of the 18th or the evening of the 19th. Afternoon of the 19th. So if you're in that area, keep in touch with me. We'll, yeah, he's in the D.C. area also. Me and him will be getting together for that day. So Lance out of Fort Worth, Texas, how you doing, brother? Lance Satchel, United in Christ Youth Group Church. Hey, very nice name. Cool. Wichita, Kansas, Cowboys for life. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being on the channel here. Like I said earlier, I know that on these live streams, people come in and go out. I start repeating myself, so we are here waiting to see if there's any news breaking on Demarcus Lawrence. They are talking right now. Simplify. Oh, we got a Marine in the house. Much respect. Damn it, damn it's good to be a Cowboy. Now that's awesome, dude. Damn it's good to be a Cowboy fan. Welcome to the channel. Let me know if you're a Marine, brother, please. That's my military boys right there, man. Yeah, I know the salary's good. I'll still make six figures. I'll still have a six figure salary there in Hawaii, but it's not going to be the six-figure salary I have here. But it is expensive there, so and I will have to pay for my things. So, damn, it's good to be a Cowboy fan. If you are a Marine, let me know. Like I said, man, I'm a big supporter of the Marines. I was with them in Kandahar. I was also with them in Iraq. I've also been with the Marines here in Kabul, Afghanistan. So shout out to you, brother, and your Marine people. Where do you think there are at D. Lawrence contract? Yeah, it's going to fall, I think, somewhere between there. I think that's the number, the number you got between 21 and 23. And obviously, Harlem Cowboy, what I think is, I think since we knew where Demarcus Lawrence was last week, Demarcus Lawrence knew where we were last week. So the fact that they're talking today, that makes me think that somebody's willing to budge. Either the Cowboys went to Demarcus Lawrence and said, hey, let's talk. We're ready to move up. Baylor wide receiver Jalen Hurd on the one more intriguing prospects. Hey, we got news on Jalen Hurd. Ian Rappaport just put out some news on Jalen Hurd. Let me read this to you guys. Baylor wide receiver Jalen Hurd, one of the more intriguing prospects considering he used to be a running back, is visiting the Vikings today, source said. Shit. No. He was on a Bucks visit earlier this week. Here is Coach talking about his transition. Oh, shit, man. Well, we haven't seen any visits from the Cowboys yet. I do want to watch the guy. I want to see where he goes. If you guys are on my channel, you guys really know I'm following Jalen Hurd. I did about 4 or 5 videos on him this week. He is my everybody has this word now they're using, pet cat. He's my security dog. That's my pet cat security dog, whatever you want to call it. But on the Demarcus Lawrence deal, I think that means somebody stepped up and said, hey, let's talk. And I would assume it's probably Demarcus Lawrence's team because the draft is coming up. Or it could have been the Cowboys. The Cowboys could say, hey, we need to talk to this guy. We need to talk to Demarcus Lawrence. The draft is coming. Let's try to talk to him one more time before this draft. Now, if things don't work out this week or next week, you can probably expect them to wait until the draft and see, if, of course, they're going to put him on the table. They're going to put Demarcus Lawrence out there on the table, and they're going to say, hey, the draft is in a week and a half, 2 weeks. This is next week I'm talking about. The draft is in a couple weeks. What can we get for this guy? Who wants to throw an offer at us? If we get 2 first-round picks, I hope so. I think the Baylor day, the Cowboys Dallas day was today, I know it was supposed to be on a Friday, is what I heard. So yeah, boo the Vikings, dude. If he ends up there, to me, he's like a Larry Fitzgerald. That's what type of receiver he is to me. The guy's got a 40-inch vertical. He doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that top end speed, but he's physical as hell, and he's a downfield blocker. He would be an amazing blocker for Ezekiel Elliott on these runs where Ezekiel Elliott gets into the secondary. So we'll see. But I really think somebody stepped forward either from the Cowboys organization or from Demarcus Lawrence's organization because the draft is coming, and we've got to decide: are we going to look at doing something with Demarcus Lawrence? Are we going to look at moving him, or are we just going to sit where we are and keep him? And if that's the case, we should hear something today, or Monday, or early next week. And if we don't hear something next week, definitely I could see the Cowboys waiting, until we get closer to the draft to see if some team throws a crazy deal out there. If some team throws a crazy deal out there and we can get that $23 million back, or we don't have to spend that $21, $22 million on Demarcus Lawrence, and we get a couple draft picks, or we get a first round, or we get a first and a third, or 2 second-round picks, the Cowboys have got to take that into consideration. So, Let me do a couple more refreshes here, and we'll see. But and I would like to see what time it is there. Somebody shoot me the time in the East Coast or Central. Hurd could be our Juju. Yeah, I like him, man. I really think he's gonna. I think he's a very good draft value. I think no matter where we get Jalen Hurd, 422 Central. Thank you, Lance. Appreciate it, brother. My phone is actually my camera, so that's why I have trouble checking the time. And here it's 1:52 in the morning. I've been going a good solid hour and a half, so we'll see. But like I did say earlier, guys, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe. All the money from my channel goes to the Dak Prescott Foundation. I'm just getting that started. So 6'4" slot receiver, man. Yes, exactly. Nasty. That's a small tight end. Shreveport, Louisiana in the house. Oh, look at that. Got some animals. You got a farm, Jimmy? Is it Jimmy or is it Jaime? My homeboy's named Jaime, dude. That was my homeboy in Iraq. I like Wilson Jr. Yes, I do as well. There's some receivers out there. This is where I think we're going, guys. I think at 58 we're going safety. I think in the second round, if there's a good defensive tackle there that they think a good big-sized defensive tackle, I think we could go defensive tackle at 90, and then at 126, I think we're going to go wide receiver. So I think my perception is safety, defensive tackle, and then wide receiver. And then after that, we're looking at possibly a running back. And that's another position. If there's a solid running back sitting there in the third round or in the fourth round, we could go running back as well. So we have to get our backup QB too. I'm okay with. I want some competition there. CEO Dunes. My thing with I'll give you my perception on it. Let me read Lance's thing here real quick, but I do want to answer your question on the backup quarterback. Hey, Crunk, do you want to see D-Law on this team this year, or would you rather have the 23rd, 20th? Hey, brother, it depends on what he holds at. If that's the number, 22 million, it depends on the guaranteed money. I would want to see, definitely because he's having this surgery, I would want to see, something like 10 sack minimum, for that extra 4 million. If he gets under 18 sacks, or excuse me, if he gets under 10 sacks, he gets 18 million, 4 million of that comes off. So we would get that back next year. That's how the guaranteed money works. If you put some incentives in there, or you put a structure in there for injury, let's say you put in there he has to play 10 games, and he plays under 10 games, well, let's say $1 million a game comes off for that. That money goes to your cap the next year. So that's how those incentives work. You can do guaranteed money. You can do guaranteed money with incentives, and that when that money comes off, it would go to your next year's cap. So that's what I think we should do. We should give him around that 22 million. I'm okay with that. I'm not good with 23, 21 and a half, 22, and we should put some incentives in there. Also, structure a injury clause in there where if he gets injured, that some of that money comes back to the Cowboys for next year's salary cap. So that's where I'm at with it. Let me see which one that was. Oh, the backup quarterback thing. CEO Dunes, my thing with the backup quarterback thing is there's going to be some Mark Sanchez. I would love Mark Sanchez to come back and be our third quarterback. Whether we keep Cooper Rush or we keep Mike White, I would love to see Mark Sanchez come back to help coach Dak the way he did his rookie year. He was under Dak Prescott's wing. He was right there with him. Mark Sanchez, I think, would be a good backup quarterback, a good veteran backup quarterback that could turn into our number 2 quarterback, So that's where I'm at on that. That's why I'm not interested in hitting a quarterback in the draft. We've already got 3 young quarterbacks. Dak Prescott, young. Cooper Rush, young, as well as Mike White. So we got 3 young quarterbacks. That's where I would like to go instead of bringing in a 4th young quarterback. I loved Mark Sanchez. I don't like him as a player, but I loved him as a backup quarterback. He did outstanding work with Dak Prescott his rookie year. And Tony Romo did quite a bit to help Dak Prescott as well. But you noticed towards the end of the season when Tony Romo thought he might be coming back, you saw him kind of peel away and not help Dak so much, but because he was like, shit, man, I'm losing my job here. This guy's blowing it up. Dak Prescott had an amazing rookie season. So, and I think part of that was the coaching he got from Tony Romo, and a lot of it was the coaching he got from Mark Sanchez, and no one having the playbook on him and some things like that. Hector, I do. I think Cooper Rush is the answer, but there's a reason Cooper Rush is not a starter. Yeah, I'm okay with Cooper Rush. He played pretty well. I would not want to start him for like 10 games, but I don't think Dak Prescott's a player that's going to be hurt a lot. He's a huge quarterback. 6'2", 240, 6'3", 240. He's built like a linebacker. So I trust Dak. He's good with the slide. When he takes off running, he does get down. He gets out of bounds. He doesn't take a lot of crazy hits, but we've seen him take some hits, and he bounces up. Dude's a beast. He's a warrior. He's not your typical running back, or he's not your typical quarterback. Let's see. Don't want a third QB. Yeah, we've got Cooper Rush. We've also got Mike White. So I think we're solid there. If we bring in a veteran, it would be just during preseason, and maybe just to challenge the younger guys. But we will see Dak Prescott play a little bit more this year than he did last year. Last year, Tom Brady had more snaps in preseason than Dak Prescott. Tom Brady had like 80-something snaps or something close to 100 snaps in preseason, and Dak Prescott had slightly over 40. So he had about a little more than half a game of snaps. So I think we'll see more of Dak Prescott in preseason this year, maybe about a game and a half, because last year he only played a little more than half a game. So I'm expecting a little bit more from him. Tony was not good with the slide. No, Tony wasn't good with sliding. He just was. He seemed clumsy with it or something. Dak gets down. Dak has no problem sliding. He goes into a slide like a second baseman. Like he's going into second base. Big Dan. Blat splat. We have Kitna now to mentor Dak as a coach. Yeah, I'm also good with that. I think Kitna is an upgrade over Kellen Moore, and I think Kellen Moore is an upgrade over Linehan. The Boise State offense has a huge playbook. If you can go through the Boise State playbook and you can memorize it the way a quarterback has to, they have a very similar playbook to an NFL team, and they have a lot of trick plays in there. They have some gimmick plays, so we might see some crazier things out of the offense this year, which is great. 428 Pim in Houston, that's my town. Carrie Teagle, thanks for joining in. 428 out of Houston, Texas. I'm from Magnolia, actually, so I'm curious if we keep 3 QBs again. I think we will. I solid in a lot of places, and when we're solid at linebacker, when we're solid, at offensive line, man, our offensive line, we are so deep at offensive line. We almost have enough guys where we could use some of those guys as trade value. Not some of them, but 1 or 2 maybe as trade value. We're really, really good at we're really, really solid at offensive line. I really see us being very deep there. What's up, my Cowboys family? How you doing? If you guys know, if you're on my channel, you know who they are. You guys sub up to my Cowboys family. He does a lot of live shows as well. Always enjoy the conversation there with him and his wife. My Cowboys family, I will be home in 16 days. So 16 days, I will do a live show. I've got to get my wife on there. I really respect what your fiance does. My cowboy fiance, not my cowboy, your cowboy fiance. What you guys do, really, really cool there. So yeah, I'm coming home. When I get home, we got to do a show together, man. We got to get my wife on there. She won't talk very much. Your wife reaches out there. She has a few things to say, and I always like what your channel puts out, man. So, but to move on, you guys know we're still sitting here. I'm still waiting on something to come in on this Demarcus Lawrence thing. It could happen any minute. At least it could, the numbers could come out. As I said earlier this week, I think this is the week for something to come out on this, and the reason is we're just getting too close to the draft. They've got to decide. Okay, David, if you ever want to see absolutely fall to pieces, just show me this scene. Our boys are doing it again. What? Okay, let me check this out. We got some David Irving news coming in. Please tell me this is not. This also led to office conversation about the sick people who write books and movies are about. Okay, this is something about movies. Sorry, guys. Some of this stuff comes in. It's kind of garbage, but our boys are doing it again. Ben Rogers and Skin Wade will have David Irving on the show at 5 p.m. So if you guys want to see the newest news on David Irving, tune into 105.3 The Fan. That's 105.3 The Fan, Central Time, 5 o'clock Central. I guess they're going to have David Irving on there, and they're going to see what's going on. I, unfortunately, cannot watch 103.5. I can't stream that. Oh, so yeah, that sounds like fun, Mike. I would love to see it, but I can't watch it here in Afghanistan. It won't let me stream it. I don't know why, but it's blocked. My Cowboys football news on the edge of our seats. What do you mean? We're waiting on news for Demarcus Lawrence, man. They are talking today. At least the agent is talking to the Cowboys, or the Cowboys are talking to Demarcus Lawrence. But there's information going back and forth. They're trying to get that worked out. As you know, the draft is coming up, so we've got to make a move here. Either the Cowboys got to go to Demarcus Lawrence. If they're talking, that obviously means we knew where Demarcus Lawrence was last week. We knew where the Cowboys were last week and earlier this week. So if they're talking, that means one of them possibly is willing to budge. Somebody has come forward and decided it's time to talk about this. So they are talking today. That's why we're on the edge of our seats. That was the title for the video, guys. So we're waiting to see. I've been here for an hour and a half updating my Twitter. We've been talking about some other things. We're talking about Dak Prescott contract. We're talking about other contracts on the defensive line, what we're going to do in the draft, who we're going to take at 58. CEO Aloka is 6'4", 220. Richard loved those. Yeah, Harlem Cowboy, I really think some people are not saying the same thing. I think he's going to I think he's going to move Heath to the bench. I think they'll share snaps, but I think Ioka, after about game 3 or 4, if it's not the rookie safety stepping up, I hope we get a safety at 58. I think Ioka will outplay Heath. Heath, being an undrafted free agent, has played well for us and done a good job, but I think Ioka brings a bigger body. I know he's sat the bench in Minnesota, but in Minnesota their level of safety play was much better than what the Cowboys had last year. So the fact he set the bench in Minnesota doesn't mean he will sit the bench in Dallas. So we'll see. That's just my opinion, but that's my philosophy on things. That's what I try to do with my channel. I kind of give my philosophy, my shit philosophies on things, and sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. But that's all we can do is read what the Cowboys are doing. I disagree. Ioka ain't it. The draft pick. Oh yeah, no. I agree with you right there. I'm agreeing with you on that. If we go 58 at safety, I think that the safety, and I posted it earlier today on my Twitter actually, if we go 58 at safety by the third game, if not earlier, by the third game, that safety's our starting safety. And we'll have Ioka, we'll have Frazier, and we'll have Heath probably on the bench. We'll have Xavier Woods and our rookie starting. That's what I hope. Adderley is clutch. I love Adderley. I'm right there with you on that one too. I love Adderley. I love a couple of the guys that I don't think are going to be on there. I think Abram will be gone. There is a small chance now that Taylor Rapp will be there, and that's only because his 40 time dropped when he ran his last 40 at the At the Frazier too. I like Frazier. That dude is a beast on special teams. But going back to Taylor Rapp, he had a slow 40. I think when he just had his pro day, or he had a local visit with one of the teams, and he ran a 40, and it didn't go so well. So we'll see, guys. But if we go safety at 58, Dallas Cowboys football news, I'm right there with you. I think that safety will be starting by game 3 at the max, if not maybe in the beginning of the season. With Heath being an undrafted free agent, he's played well. He's filled in. He's done a great job. I'm glad he made the team, but we need an upgrade there. That's definitely a spot we can get an upgrade at. And CEO Dunes, you know I'm a big Hurd boy. I'm still selling Hurd. So Lyle Horton. Burn, sorry. Burn. What is burn? I missed something. Will Allen Hurd? Allen be cut in order to free up? Yeah, Allen Hurns. I don't see. You're talking about Allen Hurns. Yeah, I just with the cap, he's a $5 million cap hit. I just don't see. I think they're going to keep him around as long as they can. I think he'll be a really late cut, and the reason they're going to do that is, it's just too much to carry. Frazier kind of ticked me off when he signed another. Frazier kind of ticked me off when we tried under safety. Hope he channels that anger towards making another progress. Hey, yeah, I love Frazier. CT Cowboys, I have his jersey. He's the only secondary player I have his jersey. And I just liked his size. I liked his physicality. He's really physical. So I bought his jersey a while back, and I'm an underdog guy. I kind of like to pull for the, anytime you can get an underdog guy, if you can get him to come up and be like a Pro Bowler, shit, like Dak. Dak Prescott's an underdog. People say he's not, but not many fourth round quarterbacks make it, especially the way he did. So, Kerry Teagle, let me see where we're at. Where does Kayvon Frazier fit with this safety talk? He's a beast on special teams. Yeah, I think they try to put him in, get him a little bit at safety. He's definitely a safety valve if guys get hurt, but he will be on the team because of special teams. They'll find a spot for him. I don't think he's going anywhere. If he goes anywhere, he won't get cut. He'll be a trade. Somebody will try to trade him as a special teamer and pick up something. But I don't see Kayvon Frazier going anywhere, especially the value money wise is too good. Let me get this football news. Hurns will get beat out. Yeah, and he's Dallas Cowboy news. He's $5 million hit on the cap, so I just don't see him sticking around at that price. Even if he beats one of the other guys out, they're not going to pay the extra money to keep Hurns. Is what I think. They asked Hurns to take a pay cut. Don't know if he agreed. I didn't know that. Stevie Mack, you always got the news, man. Where are you? I don't think your name is Stevie Mack. I think your name is, well, I'm not going to say Brian Brodus or Hellman. I don't think those guys know too much of Jack. I have a theory on those guys. If y'all want my theory, if it gets to them, I don't know if they watch these channels. If my theory about them gets to them, they'll definitely they'll definitely unsubscribe to my channel. I'm not too fond of Hellman or Brodus. I think with them sitting right there in the Cowboys building, sitting right there in the Star, I don't think the Cowboys would put I don't think they'd put two guys in there that are really, really intelligent and can see things and watch the Star, because if you're sitting that close to them, you've got to know what's going on. And they, most of the time, don't know what the hell's going on. So that's just my theory on those guys. But maybe they know 10 times more than anybody else. I don't know. But they just seem like they don't know what the hell they're talking about sometimes. And any advice they give is always like, oh, yeah, that could happen. Oh, that's a possibility. They never give an answer. They never have an opinion, really. Cut Hurns, I'm right there with you. I feel bad about his injury, but that's just where I stand. Let me catch up here. Hold on, guys. I missed a few things. Yeah, we're. Let's see, where we at? Jimmy or James? I'm not catching that one. What do you mean? Our seats? Man, I missed a bunch of stuff here. Sorry, guys. I was trying to read this. Most Cowboy players don't live up to extension. Yeah, a lot of them don't, and it's tough. Once they get that contract, sometimes it seems like they're just not into it anymore. I disagree. Oh, Loca ain't it? Cowboys. Frazier kind of ticked me off. Signing. Yeah, okay. I got that one earlier. Cut him now. Give him a preseason. Yeah, that is the best deal. You know, that's what happened with Dak. We kept him too long. If they're going to cut him and other teams are going to try to pick him up, it is best to do it early, and it's better for everybody. Frazier's a hitter. That's why I liked him. That's why I like J.J. Wilcox. How do you say Rondon Howard? That's why I like J.J. Wilcox because he could hit, and I really like that about him. Frazier is beast, run stopping safety. Yeah, I like him, man. At safety, I really love him. I just think he has not passed. I think he has not. What you got to say some stuff like that for? I don't know who you're talking to, my brother, but block. Oh, is we got an idiot in there? Sorry, guys. I'm not worried about that. You so old, new. Yeah. How do I do that? You know what? Isn't there like a way to? I don't even know how to do that shit. Sorry, guys. I'm not one of these internet savvy peoples. But remove, add, moderate. No. Put user timeout. Yeah, let me do that. I'll put him on timeout. I don't know what that means, but I guess I put him on timeout. I don't even put my kids on timeout. I just whip their ass. I used to. No, I never whipped my kids' ass. They deserved it a couple of times, but I probably didn't do that. I see the boys drafting. Add me as a moderator. Yeah, let me do that because I think is that what you do? You'll be my first moderator because I didn't know how to do that. That's the first time I just figured out how to do it. I never done that before. So did it work? I think it worked. Hey, look at that. You're my first one. I didn't know how to do that, guys. I told you my channel's new. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. But it does. Hey, I do like seeing the blue thing on there. That's pretty cool. I got to add Stevie Mack, Cowboys X Factor, and a couple other people. Cool, it worked. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, man. But be kind. You know, you ain't got to. I don't mind people cursing in here a little bit. I don't like people cursing at each other, like saying F you or whatever. If you say, oh, that effing guy, shouldn't be smoking weed, you're talking about David Irving or something. Man, I wish I could see that. I really want to see the David Irving thing at 5 o'clock. That's going to be something interesting to see. So if you guys didn't catch that at 10 on 105.3, 105.3 The Fan, at 5 o'clock they're going to be interviewing David Irving. So you guys go there and check it out. Wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys trade Taco. I think my camera just froze up. Wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys trade Taco. Hey, it could happen, guys. Crazier things have happened. I'm really solid with Taco. I think we should keep him. I think we should, give him at least another year, because this is the time these defensive linemen, these offensive linemen, they start making their move around the third year. It just takes a little while because they don't have that man strength. To play offense, defensive line. You're not going to do that right off the bat at 23 years old, 24 years old. It's going to take a little bit of time. Our boys are doing it again. Okay, yeah, that's old news. 4 minutes ago, 21 minutes. We got a new something. Here we go. Let's see. Updated Dallas Day 18, official 30. So we had. Let's see. Also includes every other known Cowboys draft interest from Senior Bowl to. It's alive, Dr. Frankenstein. Okay, hey, if you guys want to check that out, Voice of the Star, the Dallas Day 18s, there was 18 guys visited the Dallas Day. That was today, and there were 27 visits on the official 30. So they didn't have So let me see. Most of the comprehensive list of the Dallas Cowboys draft visits, workouts, and interests of 2019, including the film. Yeah, let me check this out, guys. Let me go over this list and see who visited. Here's the bookmark. Yes, baby. Let's do this. Let's see who the Cowboys were interested in on these visits today. We know I went over the 30 visits earlier. If you guys have been here for 2 hours, which I've been here for almost 2 hours now, I think. But we got info on the 30 visits, and I was really interested in the Dallas day and to see who came in. So we had 17 players visit on the Dallas day, or excuse me, 18. 18 players visit on the Dallas day, and 27. We only did 27 out of the 30. We were allowed 30 visits, and on the 30 visits, we only did 27. So, yeah, this page takes a little while to load. I don't want to lose you guys, which I'm probably going to just because I opened this page. The internet here is horrible, and when you open one of these pages like the NFL draft prospect pages or 24/7 sports, these pages almost kill my internet. So if it's lagging right now, which it is here where I'm at, I'm getting nothing. Matter of fact, it looks like the whole internet just shut down. So give me a minute, guys. Let me get this rolling. Well, we'll look this over, see what players visited on the Dallas day. Those should be all local visits, like Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. They can bring in any of these guys they want to do these visits, and I'm definitely shutting my internet down by opening this damn page. My YouTube. Okay, there we go. Demarcus Lawrence. There's that. YouTube is frozen, completely frozen, guys. I can't see the chat box at all. So give me a minute with my 2 MB here. I physically have 2 MB for internet, and I pay $600 a month for 2 MB. Internet is the most ridiculous thing we have over here. It's so damn expensive. It makes no sense to me. Okay, chat box is open again. Stevie Mac, Dallas Day is probably the most important one to pay attention to. Yeah, I like the Dallas Day, and we'll see. Been here with you, Crunk. Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've been here about 2 hours now, but I'm expecting some kind of news. All we got was they're talking. So we will get some kind of news when they come out of this. That they're still talking, and they'll probably continue talking on Monday. It doesn't seem like a lot of stuff comes out on the weekends. B. Jones is an important sign. Shutdown corner. Dude, Byron Jones is important, and that's one of the things I'm talking about with Demarcus Lawrence. They've got to make sure they can fit Byron Jones in there. A shutdown corner is valuable as well. So if they're looking at the money that it's going to have to go to Demarcus Lawrence, if it's going to squeeze Byron Jones out, that's something they've got to pay attention to. Paying rent for Wi-Fi, yeah. 600 bones, dude. 600 bones for 2 MB. I think at home I get like 16 MB for $50. It's something like that at home. I don't know. But over here, stuff like internet is considered an extreme luxury. So I have to have it for work. They know, of course, my work knows I use a shitload of it for YouTube, but that's a big part of my work as well. Big Dan Splat was sure that Hurd would be one of those visits. Yeah, I thought he would be as well. Let me switch over there and try to look at it real quick. I think the page is still loading. They got Roger Goodell here on the front page. Top NFL draft picks postings. This page is so huge. All the pop-ups and shit. RV share and okay, wide receiver April 5th, accurate as of April 5th. Grab your popcorn, guys. Here we go. Let me roll through this. Expect many more sit-downs with prospects as the weeks go by, as they finalize their board. But here's a list of who they've already had FaceTime with. The Cowboys don't release any official list of their visits, but I've cast a wide net to bring all in. So what this is let me get the well, I can't see his name. If I slide down too much, I have to refresh the page. So wide receiver, Amari Cooper's the real deal. What are we doing here? So McCole Hardman. Looks like McCole Hardman was one of the visitors. Let me slide back up again here. Accurate as of April 5th. Let me slide up, see if we got anything. Any news? No news. Let me check Twitter one more time before I start getting into this other web page, because if I get into this other web page and I won't get any Twitter updates while I'm on this other page for at least a couple minutes. So let's check the Dallas Day visits, see who visited on Dallas Day. All right, now my internet's rolling. It takes a while for these pages to open. And there's some mice on here. So McCole Hardman, wide receiver. The source was Bobby Belt. There's a lot of guys at the Star right now walking around with their eyes open. And when they see somebody, they know these players. They know who the players are, and the players probably they're probably told, don't stop and talk to nobody, because they're trying to hide who these visitors are. So McCole Hardman, wide receiver. I think he's a third round guy, possibly. I don't see him going at Deebo Samuel. This is a second round guy. I don't think he will be there in the third round. So Deebo Samuel was a 30 visit. Also he was a 30 visit, as well as it looks like he was a which one is this one? No, that's out of Carolina. Yeah, he was a 30 visit. So these are the 30 visits I'm going over. He was an official 30. I want to get down to the other ones. I've already looked at the 30 visits. Another 30 visit was Javon Johnson, wide receiver. Another wide receiver was Tony Pollard out of Memphis. Let me get down here, guys. This page is really slow. Emmanuel Hall, wide receiver. I like that guy. Big wide receiver, 6'1", 201 pounds. Emmanuel Hall. Cowboys fit. He fit the Miles Boykin, another wide receiver, kind of a really big guy, 6'4", 220. Also, he had the combine was let's see, hold on, source. Let's see. Out of Notre Dame. I'm sorry, 26 games, 77 receptions, 126 yards. So that guy has a huge measurables. His measurables are off the charts almost. Let's see. He's a Cowboy fit as well. Another wide receiver is Jazz Ferguson. Let me slide down some more guys. I'm trying to get to these are the official 30s. Stanley Morgan, wide receiver. Man, we had a lot more wide receivers than I thought. Here we go. Jalen Goyton, wide receiver out of North Texas, 6'1", 200 pounds, 202. Officially, this is a guy I like too. Little Jordan Humphrey, wide receiver out of Texas, 6'4", 225. That dude, I just love his measurables. He's huge. He's big. Not the fastest guy, but he's really a big time receiver. And he'll run the ball a little bit. He'll take it on. He likes to run reverses. His measurables again really big. Little Jordan Humphrey out of Texas, 6'4", 225, 220. Kevon Turpin is another guy they've looked at, a really small guy out of Texas Christian, super fast. A slot receiver guy. Dallas Day. Here we go. Here's the Dallas Day, guys. Demarcus Lodge out of Ole Miss, 6'2", 200, 33 games, 122 receptions. Let's go. Here we go. More Dallas Day guys. Alex Alex Wesley. Man, we had a lot of receivers come in, guys. I'm telling you, they are not happy at wide receiver. And also, if you guys know, we've got a few guys on one-year deals. Running back, yeah, baby, that's my boy right here. Out of Texas A&M, Damian. Well, we're gonna skip that guy real quick. They were just showing the picture, but Damian Harris, wide running back out of Alabama, 5'10", 216, a solid stand-in for Ezekiel Elliott. Sorry, guys, I can't see the chat box right now. I will jump over for a minute and make sure we're still rolling here. Let's see. There's a lot of good guys on here. We got some clowning going on here. Stevie Mac, these about 6 guys should seriously take. Hey, man, the chat box is moving too fast. What the heck is going on? I said AFL, damn, not to take like David Irving, kind of Patriots, Dallas Cowboy football news. Still got your wrench. Let me hit. Where did Stevie Mac go? We need to get Dak a big red zone target. Man, Kerry, we have a red zone target, man. They don't use him. I think that's why I say I want Jalen Hurd. He's like a small tight end, actually. But my boy Rico Gathers is sitting there, man. They need to use Rico Gathers. I'm telling you 100%. Hold on, I'm going to get this guy. Let me do my thing here real quick. Add moderator. There we go. And wherever Stevie Mac went, I got to find him as well. Let me get Stevie Mac rolling in here. Stevie Mac, where you at? Where'd he go? There he is. Yeah, Dallas Day to me is the most important, guys. So I'm going over that list right now. Rico, yes. Hey, you guys know I got the Rico jersey as well. I'm one of the underdog guys, so I don't like big time players are cool. Your big time players are always going to be there. But when you Xavier Turner, running back out of and he's a more solid guy. I mean he's 225, 5'10". He's out of a small school. Small junior college, or he transferred from a junior college, Tarleton State. Let's see, Cowboys fit. I didn't see my Jalen Hurd in there, guys, so I don't know what the deal is on that. Maybe Jalen Hurd didn't get a visit. Tavon Williams, that's a guy right there that I think the Cowboys are going to show some interest in. He's only 5'8", 206, but he's a pounded guy between the tackles. He's solid. He hits the hole quick, and I like him as a running back. Of course, with him being out of Texas. So let me see where we're at in the chat box again. Dallas Cowboy fan, hit that like button, guys. Yeah, please do. It rolls the channel up. Dallas Cowboys fan, 1973. If you notice, I gave you the wrench. You're in charge of the channel. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. I just figured out how to do this, guys. I should have been doing it before. And now I've got an issue here. Everything's frozen. Where are we at? There we go, guys. Bang. All right. Now we're moving. Now this channel's I'm getting the channel together, man. I didn't know how to do this shit before. So I'm learning. Let me check Twitter again. We've got to have an update on this, guys. There's got to be something come out of the camp, out of the Star today on Demarcus Lawrence. We can't sit here all day waiting on something. They are talking. They are discussing things. Maybe things are getting close. This week's episode of The Blitz checks in on the state of the Cowboys defense and fully brings it into draft session. Dallas Cowboys Nation, join us for the final day of Dallas Cowboy draft festivities by running the draft day 5K. Okay, that's a 5K run. Now add Jacksonville to Brandon Sliver's workout list next week. Adam Schefter, former Memphis Express quarterback. Yeah, that guy seemed pretty good. I was watching some of the AEF games, and I like that quarterback out of Memphis, Brandon Silvers. So he's going to be visiting. Where is he? He's visiting Jacksonville. Here we go. Wait. Have never seen an episode. Did you hear about the correctly? Come on, brother. Nope, nothing, nothing, nothing. Ah, dang it, man. This news is driving me nuts. They will not post anything on this guy. We'll hear something today, guys. Whether it is or whether it's nothing, we'll hear something called nothing, or we'll get some good news today. I'm gonna continue back here on our visits. I want to see who we had at safety come in. This is a lot of visits, guys. A lot of visits here for our people to oversee. Running back Mike Weber at Ohio State. This is somebody they've really been interested in. 5'10", 211. Anybody at these guys out of Ohio State, these guys out of Michigan, these guys out of these tight end. What? Hold on. Okay, no, that's not a tight end we were interested in. That guy's going to be gone in the first round. Drew Sample, tight end. This is still all offensive players. Haven't seen Dawson Knox, a receiving tight end. Not much of a blocker, but a really, really good receiving tight end. T.J. Hawkinson, he'll be gone well before the Cowboys are on the board. There's no way to get that guy. Let's see. Are we still? Yeah, we're still going. My camera is getting a little low here on the battery, so not much longer. How much longer I can go? Texas A&M, Jake Sternberger. I'm really high on this guy as well. I like him, and 6'4", 250, a little bit smaller, but a really good receiving tight end. I still think Rico Gathers ought to be our boy. I'm not looking at tight ends, man. If they pick up a tight end, I'm going to be a little upset with that pickup. I don't think that's an interest, a need for us. So I don't think it should be an interest. I'm still trying to get down here. Still looking offensive tackle, Dalton Wisner. Come on, man. Where's these safeties at, dude? I want to see the safeties that did the visits. They put the most important position last. I guess that's because they want you to look through the whole. And this page is still loading. This page is super long. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the safeties, guys. My peoples. I know I say guys a lot. My peoples, my ladies and gentlemen. Defensive line. Here we go. The guy out of, well, that's not one we looked at. He's going to be gone as well. Dallas Cowboys film review pending. Yeah, it's almost a waste to even try to go down here and look at this. This page is still loading, and it's been open for a good 7 or 8 minutes. And now it's actually frozen. Defensive edge rusher. Anything I do is it's just going to freeze up now. So, yeah, I'll have to look at this later, guys. I'm going to let the. Oh, now it's loading. Here we go. Edge rusher. I'm interested in safety. I want to see where we went at safety and who came in. But really, actually, it's just a waste of time because this page is doing nothing. I cannot, bro, being over here 15 years. I'm coming up on 15 years in this damn country. I do get a lot of vacation time, but I've been over here 15 years. That is too long for somebody that's almost 50 years old to have their old ass over here sitting in the middle of Afghanistan, away from his family. I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm done, bro. Isaiah Buggs, I knew that was somebody that they'd probably bring in. That guy, I would like to see him in the middle. 6'3", 310 pounds. Let's see. Edge rusher. Come on. I want to get down to the safeties. Kingsley Kiki, also a guy that we know that they were interested in. Quite a few edge rushers on here. And the size of these guys is really different. We got some of these guys at 6'3", 6'4", 230, linebacker. All right, we got to be getting close to the secondary here, guys. Give me a couple more minutes. I'm gonna let this page load. We did bring in a few linebackers, which is not a surprise. Linebackers are real durable positions. A lot of times those guys are like a lot of times those guys are similar to your utility knives. The guys that you can move around. You can play him on special teams. You can use him in different places, different locations. I'm checking this because, yeah, there we go. I'm still loading this page, guys. Sorry. I really hate to keep you holding like that. Here we go. The boys. Oh, down to 20. Yes, thank you very much. I'm trying to get to the safeties. I want to see who came in on the visits on the Dallas day, as well as I already saw the 30 visits. I know who that is. But when I'm switching pages from one tab to the next, it's taking a good minute and a half just for the page to open. So linebacker again, linebacker, Dre Greenhold. Linebacker Darius Harris, 6'2", 238. I'm not interested in linebackers. I don't think that's one of the positions we'll be hitting up. I think we're pretty good there. If we take linebacker, it'll be sixth round maybe. And the only reason I say that is just because man, a lot of linebackers. Dallas Day, Ty Summers. Okay, is this it? Safety? Here we go, guys. Safety. For once in a very long time, it isn't a pressing need. Whoa, what is this? Was this corner? Cornerback. Okay, yeah, cornerback's not a pressing need, but it would be nice to pick up a guy in case we cannot keep. And there is a chance that we cannot keep Byron Jones next year. If we get into a cap situation and somebody's got to go, he could be the guy that gets pinched out. If he gets pinched out, if they think there's a chance he's going to get pinched out, you could see a safety go in the draft this year or early in the draft next year. It just depends. We could see a hybrid like safety cornerback type come out of the draft this year. They could draft a guy that can play both. Now, here we are. Now we found the safety spot. I'm going to slide into this real slow, and I want to see who all the safeties are. Will Harris, he came in. He was an official 30. Will Harris out of Boston College, 6'2", 207. You guys know he should be there. He will be there on the board when we have our 58 pick, almost for sure. Almost guaranteed, I think he'll be there. Another one of the other was Khari Willis. I think he will be there as well. 5'11", 213, a little bit shorter, but still a very big safety as far as size goes. The next safety we had on the 30 visits was this is a guy that I really think we could go for. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety, out of oh shit, hold on, my page is rolling. No, stop. Okay, safety out of Florida, 5'11", 210. I like a lot of things about this guy, and that's Chauncey Gardner-Joyner. I think we have a really good, this is one of the guys we could be looking at. I think he's going to be there at 58, and it could be the pick we go with. So he's one of the guys I like. Chauncey Johnson, excuse me. I'm trying to roll this down and talk at the same time, and now it's Juan Thornhill, safety. That's another big prospect. I think he will definitely be there as well. We'll have to see, but he's going to go right around that era, right around that time frame as well. 6'5", 205, out of Virginia. I just think I just think safety's where we need to go with 58, guys. It's really where I think the Cowboys are looking to go. If you look at the 30 picks that we brought in, most of those guys, Cowboys would need to pull the trigger early on this one. He's a 58. Yeah, he would definitely have to be Jonathan Abram, safety. Probably not going to be there at 58. 5'11", 205. 33 games, 195 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, two fumble or a fumble recovery and a forced fumble. I think he's going to go fairly early. I don't think he's there at 58, but he could be. Let's see what they say on him. He ran a 4.45, so his speed is excellent. Let's see. Okay, Abram put on a bit of a show at the combine as well, increasing his stock, particularly his 4.45 40. There's work to be done on and by Abram, but if the Cowboys miss free agency at the position, he'll be eyed at 58. So there's possibility he's there at 58. Tyler Rapp, he was an official 30 visit. Let's see what they say on him. 39 games, 168 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 7 interceptions. That's where this guy is a ball hawk. 6 sacks as well. Only 6 pass breakups, but 3 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 defensive touchdown. So this is a guy that gives us a dynamic player in the backfield, a ball hawk, a guy that can take it to the house, a guy that's probably not going to be there at 58. He'd be a good grab at number 58, but not if Abram is available. So if Abram is available, most of these guys are saying to go for Abram, but both of those guys most likely are going to be gone a little bit before that. And the other ones is quarterback. So we're pretty much done with the draft picks there. I think I've ran that into the ground. We've sat here and talked about it for 2.5 hours, and it is 2:43 in the morning here. So it's probably best that I get a little bit of sleep and wake up and see what's going on with Demarcus Lawrence in the morning, because Demarcus Lawrence and his team have put us on hold again. We have no news other than they are talking news. And, it could have been a text message. Maybe Jerry Jones sent his ass a tweet, and it's got us sitting here for 3 hours talking Cowboy news when there is no Cowboy news. But, man, opening that web page really shut my internet down, and also just closed my YouTube. So let me hit Twitter one more time, refresh the page, and check with you guys. I think I've worn the YouTube channel out today. I really was expecting something to come. We got 2 new tweets here. Let's go, guys. I really believe Arizona is going to take Kyler Murray. We will see. 49ers sign former Giants defensive lineman Demontre Moore, formerly with the San Diego Fleet. Let's see. NFL draft scout Matt, do you really believe Arizona is going to take Kyler Murray? So we got Kyler Murray questions going on here. That's about it, guys. I don't see anything coming from the Cowboys or Demarcus Lawrence on this. As we know, it is going to take a little time, even if they nail the number down, which the numbers were close. Demarcus Lawrence is sitting at 23.1. The Cowboys are wanting to do 21 and a half. They'll probably meet around 22.3 or 22.5 or 4 or something like that. And if they can meet there, then you still have to work out the guaranteed money, if there's going to be any kind of incentives in there, if you are going to have any incentives in there. Also, if you're going to have any, like injury clauses or anything like that. So no way will Abram be there at 58. I don't think so either. I was just going off of what the 24/7 there said. I don't think there's any way Rapp could possibly be there, and the only reason I think that is because of his time he just ran on the 40 was a little slow. So he could drop. He may drop. He may not. So we'll see. But I'm going to jump off, guys. It's 3 a.m. here. I really appreciate y'all hanging in there. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, all of my proceeds from this channel, when I get my first check from YouTube, all of those proceeds will go to the Dak Prescott Cancer Fund. So I appreciate it, guys. Dan, Big Dan Blatt Splat, thank you very much. Fun talking rugby with you guys. Yeah, the rugby guy was here. I think we ran him off. But I'll try to sleep well, guys. I'm gonna sleep with one eye on my Twitter page, waiting for this Demarcus Lawrence thing to break. I would hate to wake up in the morning and Demarcus Lawrence got traded or some shit, and my War Daddy jersey sitting back here is worth nothing. So we'll see, guys. Take care. Love, peace, and happiness. Cowboy Crunk is out. What up, what up, what up? Peace out, guys. Let's do this. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks, Stevie Mac.